Thank you, Andrew. I didn't intend to become a politician. That was never my game plan. I joined the Green Party, perhaps like many of us, because I saw the urgency of the climate emergency, and I saw that this wasn't being prioritised by the other parties. A few years later, a local Green Party councillor knocked on our door. One thing led to another, and I became more involved in our local party. Before I knew it, I found myself standing as a target candidate, and I was elected last year as part of the Green Wave that saw us more than double the number of councillors up and down the country. When I first agreed to stand, I didn't know much about local politics. Despite growing up in a household where national politics was talked about round the dinner table, I had very little idea what a local councillor actually did. So to go from there to here in the space of 2 years, it's been a really steep learning curve. And what I want to share with you today is why I've become passionate about local politics and why I think it's at the heart of what we do in the Green Party. As councillors, we have the opportunity to do lots of things. We can bring our residents' concerns to meetings and make sure that their voices are considered. We can scrutinise decision-making and hold the establishment to account. We can challenge unfair systems that aren't working, and we can make sure that our priorities of environmental and social justice stay at the top of the agenda. But the thing that really made me fall in love with local politics was the ability to make a real difference to the lives of local people. I remember the first piece of casework that I had as a freshly elected councillor back in May last year. An elderly resident called me, and she told me that the council's bushes were overhanging her driveway, which was making it dangerous for her carers to get in and out. In previous years, her husband had cut these bushes, but he'd recently lost his sight, so he wasn't able to do that. They tried to contact the council several times, to no success. So off I went. 2 emails later, the bushes were cut, the problem was solved. And this seems like such a small thing. I mean, after all, it's not saving the world or eliminating poverty, but it made a real difference to that couple. And that woman said to me, "This is the first time in my life I've contacted a politician and they've actually done something useful." We can all see that trust in politics and politicians is at an all-time low. And who can be surprised when we see what's going on in the world and what everyone sees on the news? So when people say to me things like, "You're the first politician I've met who seems to really care," or "You've restored my faith in politics just a little bit," that matters. We talk in the Green Party a lot about doing politics differently, but here we have the opportunity to show what differently looks like. We can bring a human face to our councils. We have the power to cut through that bureaucracy, to stand up for the local people who we represent, and to win over hearts and minds one at a time. As Greens, we believe in the power of local decision-making and local democracy. We know that to tackle the challenge of climate change and the issues of equality, fairness, and social justice that are so important to us, we have to bring people together to create solutions. And none of us can do this alone, because we each represent only a small corner of the country. But together, we can do amazing things. Today, the Green Party has 354 councillors on 123 district, county, borough and city councils, and more town and parish councillors. Of those, we form part of the ruling administration on 18, and that most recently includes Brighton and Hove, where the Greens took over the running of the council last July. The AGC is here to support all of those councillors, from lone Greens to those in opposition groups and those in administration. Every group faces its unique challenges and its own political landscape, but through the AGC, we come together to share ideas and inspiration and to use our collective voice to lobby for change. And we're also here to shout about what Green councillors are doing, both to you, our members, and also to the wider world, because I want everyone to know that we have hundreds of elected Greens up and down the country delivering on our priorities, our values, our policies, supporting their communities and showing what politics can be. I'll give you a few examples. It was a Green councillor in Bristol, Cllr, who proposed the first climate emergency motion in the UK. And since then, 69% of councils have followed. But we know that good intentions aren't enough, which is why we've been pushing for councils to adopt carbon management strategies, as they have in Herefordshire, where Ellie Chowns is the Cabinet Member for the Environment. In Lewes District Council, where we share power, they've commissioned a plan to put not just the council, but the whole district on course for zero emissions by 2030. And our councillor, Matthew Bird, is leading that work. In Norwich, our councillors in opposition have been pushing for municipal investment bonds, which is a way to crowdfund for sustainable energy investments. In Peterborough, Sol Green councillor Nicola Day won her motion to create a food strategy to tackle food inequality, and she's been working with active travel campaigners to improve cycle infrastructure. In Solihull, we've campaigned for more socially rented housing, and we've successfully pushed the council to provide support to social care workers who've been struggling financially as a result of the COVID crisis. And our new Green administration in Brighton and Hove recently secured funding to provide housing and additional support to homeless people to help them find permanent accommodation. And these are just a few examples of all the great work that's going on. At this point, I'm going to give a shout out to our brilliant climate change support officer, Julian Dean, who's running a fringe later on councils and climate change. So do go along to that to hear more. Now, if you're feeling inspired and you want to get involved, there's lots of ways to do that. Perhaps the easiest is to help to campaign for your local target candidates. And that can involve anything from stuffing envelopes or delivering leaflets to knocking on doors or helping to design newsletters. But maybe you've got thoughts about becoming a councillor yourself and standing as a prospective target candidate. That can seem daunting, but the AGC is here, along with your local and regional parties, to answer any questions you might have and to address your concerns, talk you through what's involved, step by step. We need candidates from all different backgrounds. So if you don't think that you'd fit in as a councillor, that's even more reason we'd like to support you to stand. If you're not ready to take that step, there's lots of other opportunities to help. There's background work, for example, drafting motions and consultation responses, and the AGC has lots more information about this. Together, we can make a difference, and we can build the foundations for our party's success at a national level. We need to be a party that represents every class, every colour, and every community. A party that combines a bold vision of a better future with a clear understanding of what works. And a party that knows how to win elections, not to take power for its own sake, but to deliver the change that our country desperately needs. And we will make this happen by engaging with our local communities, by earning their trust, and by proving that better is possible when Greens get elected. Thank you.